Thank you. Back again with the other parts of the interview that we're talking about the challenge within this primary school under Lezuru district. Okay, here you can see the structure.
Yeah.
You can see structure within it. Yeah, you can see structure, and the structure is a part of PTA contribution. That means the parents' interest to assist their children. And you can see so far, they say they have been writing to the government authority concerning this infrastructure development. But so far, nothing for show up. But I'm not going to say much until we hear from one of the authorities. Thank you. Please come with me. Welcome back, please. I'm with the one of the teacher within the school. We're going to go and deep to ask more question to find out what are the challenges so far with the primary school under the zoo. Please come with me. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir.
Yeah. We can see so far with the challenge people are facing here, even though we've been some other schools to find out what are the challenges and what are the way forward. But it seems to me that all the schools like they have almost the same challenge. One, infrastructure problem. Two, decks. Three, structures. Two, and four, the kids. But like so far, this district here, is encouraged. Like looking at the kids coming around, even though this 8:30, they're meant to be in class,
Yes.
but unfortunately, they are just coming to school. So, can you tell me what are the challenges you face here, please?
One of the challenges we face is that most pupils don't come to school on time. In fact, most of the times we have to go into the community to plead with the parents or to plead with the community head leaders so they can help us send their children to school. Because most of them, since this is a nomadic settlement, it is believed that most of them will either go for farming or one activity before coming to school. So as teachers, we try to bear with that. But nevertheless, there are moments that sometimes you won't find the children even coming to school. Sometimes you pass them by the way and they're telling you, Malam will be going somewhere, and there's nothing you can do about it since it's a nomadic settlement.
Okay, then who is responsible to ensure that those kids remain or come to school at a proper time?
Actually, the parents are responsible for that because, as a teacher, we cannot always force the children to come out from school. So we try to meet the parents so we can talk to them. In fact, during our PTA meetings, we let them know the importance of our presence here is to assist them, so that they will be able to assist us also by sending their children to school on time, so we can be able to carry
Okay,
out
that's this program, this federal government program, this feeding program, they call vendor.
Okay.
And so far, I've not seen any of the vendors around. And the aim of that vendor, is to encourage them, make them to remain in school while learning continues. So far, I've not seen any. So how are you coping with that?
Actually, it has not been easy because since the vendor program has been introduced, the children started coming. Those that were not in school began coming, and later, when the vendor stopped for one reason or the other, the students withdrew from coming to school because when they came the first day, they noticed there was no food. The second day, there was no food. The next day, in fact, almost half of the school stopped coming.
Wow. So that shows that there's no interest
There's
in
no
the kids.
interest. There's no interest.
Okay, and another thing, what are the local government authority? Because so far I can see the structure here.
Yes.
The project going on. So I don't know, is this part of the local government authority project, or this is an individual, or this is a PTA project?
Actually, this is not part of the local government project. This is a PTA effort in trying to make sure that there's
Sufficient
structure.
classes,
Yeah,
okay.
because as you can see, in most of the classes, like this one, you have like nursery 1, nursery 2, and then you even have this ECCD. Those small ones when they are not supposed to be in the same class. Most of the times, if you want to have a lesson, we separate them. Some we take them under the tree, and some we take them out so they can play, so that we can have a conducive class for at least one class. So we are lacking classes, and this is just one of the efforts of the PTA to make sure that we put something in place before the government can have something
Then
to say.
what about the issue of the debt? Because normally it affects their writing.
Yes, yes.
You want a kid to jolt while learning, and you're like, unfortunately, you're sitting on the floor. And like, so how do you go about that? Is it that people are not written to the appropriate authority, or what? Very soon we're going inside to find out one or two things. What are the
Actually, the education board under these local governments have been aware of this because often they send their officials to come and investigate to find out all these things. And for ages, we've been complaining about lack of seats, but I don't know what is happening till date. we've not seen seats so far. The only seats that we have are not even sufficient for just the senior classes, and the senior classes even some of them you see go there and find them sitting 4 per decks, 5 per decks, and you can imagine when a child wants to read and ride comfortably, it's not going to be comfortable for him. So we're just managing and bearing with the situation.
Then I want to find out, do you also have this merging classes here? Because in other school, we're trying to find out due to infrastructure issues, they merge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it also applicable here?
Yeah, it is. It is. Like if you can see the middle class there,
Okay.
it's supposed to be primary 5 and 6.
Okay.
So that is the 2 class.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this one is primary 4. But because there's no place, in fact, that class that you see was just I think last month that has been completed, and that is an effort from the PTA. Yeah, that's an effort.
So in other way around, you're telling me that the PTA are taking responsibility of
the
government
the PTA are doing much that they can. There's this federal government funds that they used to send once sometimes in a year, so that they can aid you for this kind of projects that has not been completed, so that you'll be able to let's say paint, or because in the instruction you'll be given is that you don't need to roof the place or build the place. All you need to do is for renovation. So for classes like this that have been put in place, if there's need for us to roof, we actually request for permission that this is our problem, yes. So we roof it and then we complete the rest of it.
Okay, then what about the issue of this program, this partnership with the World Bank and the federal government or state government authority, which why they fund materials, exercise book, textbook. So far, do you assess any material so far within this district?
Yes, within this district, we only had but few, because I'm one of the privileged teachers who were introduced to this, and we were given some few learning materials for the classes. But the fortunate thing is this: the children need more of it, and it is quite unfortunate that we can't have more, because these classes are supposed to, these materials are supposed to go around to every pupil that is in this class. But even in one class that you're supposed to take, you find you have more than 100, and you're only giving but 20 materials. You can only imagine which of the people will you give, which one will you not give, and then all of them you are expected to train them and make them learn how to write and read at the same time when they don't have sufficient material.
So how do you go about controlling the crowd? I know per class should be more than, as in less than 30, 35, 40. And I'm imagine you bringing all the class together. You see, I don't know, how do you control the crowd?
Well, to be honest, it has not been an easy thing, and I don't think it is going to be sure. Being with children is not something that one will just overlook and do, because as you're trying to teach, this one is trying to play, that one is trying to beat, that one is pinching, that one, you just find the place so unconducive. But as a teacher, you always have to, it's one of the challenges that we face as teachers. A lesson that you're supposed to deliver in just, let's say, 30 minutes or 40 minutes, you end up spending an hour, and yet the lesson, the aim has not been achieved, because you have to control the kids at the same time, teach them at the same time, trying to bring them, all of them, into action, so that sometimes you have to deviate from the lesson, play with them so you can gain their concentration before you can carry on. So it has not been easy.
Okay, there's this system of group study. Okay. You see, I tried to find out in other school whereby they kind of, there's way they arrange the decks instead of decks facing the board. They put the decks together. They call that because of due to insufficient of material. They said it encouraged them to learn. Do you also have such program here?
Yes, we do, but because we don't have decks, so we just group them in places and just you take these ones, that group you give a specific task. But because there are no chairs and it's difficult for us to prove what we are doing, because immediately you finish the lesson, everybody will go his separate ways, and when they are coming back to see, they are not coming to see as you've arranged them. And it depends on lessons. When you only, that one particularly works for me when teaching this English subject, and I'm teaching them how to read with the jolly funny sounds and the rest of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So far you can hear from one of the teachers within the school, and you are going with me to classroom to find out what are the different. Is it the same challenge they're facing in all the district? So we can go into the classroom now to find out what's going on. Please come with me.
How are you doing? Say we are fine.
Hello class, good morning.
Good
morning class. Good morning. free. You can sit down. So these are the challenges you're facing. Look at the kids. They are sitting on the floor. But you keep on wondering what's going on. Is the school authority or the appropriate people not taking their responsibilities? This class what? Class
Primary 1 and 2 and nursery 1 at the same time.
Wow. So we're having almost the same three stages. Primary 1, 2, 3 at the same class. So we're moving next class to find out what class. Or are they having the same challenge here? Because issue of merging, it has become so rampant. And I'm keep on wondering, would that be easier for them? Because each pupil should be at their own class for their own learning and make it easier. But look at them in the same class. So how would that affect their learning? We're moving to the next class to find out. Please come with me. Hello class.
Hello, class.
Good morning class.
Good morning. Stand up and
Good morning class. Good morning class. How are you? You can sit down. So far I'm in another class. What class is this? Class 2. Is there any message? Is there any class 4? Or is it the only 2? Okay, class 4 you other side. Okay, as you can see, the material are still scattered here. As you can see, they don't have even share for the material.
before, it is this class we use as an office. That's why you are still using material.
Okay.
So the school have make a hall and build the other office.
So does that mean that people don't use this material?
Yeah, these are
This is a registration book for the student.
for the class.
Wow. So far, what about this handbook that they use for learning? Don't people use it up to now? Because this is still valuable. Okay, this is more of Christian CRK. Okay, so another thing I want us to look into. We're going down there to class 4, 5, 6 to see how far and how well equipped is. Because we want to find out if the difference between the challenges school are facing. Please come with me, we'll find out.
My shoulder, my knees, my toes.
This is part of the school land.
Yeah.
This is part of the school land that they're meant to be built. They're meant to be classroom.
Oh,
Here.
We do not have enough place. This is just a part of you know, some other students get vast land across the surroundings.
Hello class. How are you?
We are quite well, thank you, sir.
You can sit down. So this primary 4. Primary 4, okay. As you can see, primary 4 is still manageable because some of them are still on the floor while some of them have the desks. And this they are board. But even with that, we're looking at the situation whereby government will come into our responsibility because we can't continue like this. And things are not even encouraged. So we're moving to class 6 to see how equipped is. Please come with me.
We use 5 and 6 centuries.
Good morning, class.
How are you? We are quite well, thank you, sir.
Please, you can sit down. Okay, here with me, I'm in class 5 and 6. We are trying to look at the congestion within the class, which was meant to be, class 5 at its own, 6 at its own. But I'm thinking of looking at the congestion and how easier it is for them to learn. And it's a big challenge. And this is the number of them. And look at it, as you can see, the teacher is busy trying to ensure that he pass in his best. But the problem, we keep on wondering, what is the problem and how do we go about it? Meanwhile, we're going to ask him 1 or 2 challenges he faced with the crowd while merging 5 and 6. Hello sir, how are you sir?
I'm fine.
Good morning sir.
Morning.
Yeah, please, I want to find out, this is class 5 and 6.
Yes.
And how do you go about it? Because I know each class should be not less than 35, 40.
Yes.
And I like, look at class. At the congestion, how are you managing to cope with you're trying to control and you're trying to pass in message. So how do you go?
Yes, actually it's not easy because merging to 2 classes educationally it's not advisable because it is two classes and they have different curriculum.
Yes, it's true.
And of course, since they are merged together, yeah, it won't be advisable. When teaching the primary 6, you have interruption from the primary 5. And when teaching the primary 5, there will also be interruption from the primary 6. And sometimes we do combine them together, as you can see, as I divide the board into two.
Wow.
This is for primary
CA
5,
for one,
while
okay.
this is for primary 6.
Wow.
Understand? So this one is not encouraging at all. It's not supposed to be so. Each class is supposed to have their own classroom, but because of the condition and inavailability of the classes, that's why we decided to merge them together.
Okay, another thing is that how about their interest? Is it encouraged? Their interest coming to school, writing, because that's the most important thing.
Oh yes, it's encouraging, as you can see. Although some of them are absent, but the number is encouraging today.
Okay. Then what about the materials? Do you also group them here? Because we learned that there's a material for primary 5 and 6. That's the way you split the board into two.
Yes.
How do you go about managing primary 5 and the material? The textbooks. How do you go about that?
Yes, the textbooks most of the times I use one textbook.
Wow.
Understand?
Okay,
Because there's no how you can use two textbooks. Sometimes I use primary 5 for both the two classes. Understand? But sometimes I use primary 6, depending on the topic.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So in terms of grouping them, there's no enough space for me to group them. There's no how I can do that. So sometimes even if I will do that, I do not find it easier. As you can see, that place is too congested. So if this grouping, there's no how I can go around, because when it is grouping, you must have to be going around each group to check their works. Understand me? So it's not easy.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
This so far we can go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you can hear from the teacher the challenge they are facing in this district. And the most important thing, you keep on wondering that despite with the fund, money authorities say they allocate for this project, the money will keep on disappearing, and they keep on wondering what is the problem and where is the future. Without putting this in place, it becomes a challenge. That shows that in future to come, if the proper people are not taking the responsibility, there will be no future in Nigeria. But I pray time will come, the appropriate people can take their responsibility. Thank you very much.